Whiteham Wood, about 3 miles west of Oxford, the night of April the 15th, 1973. "11:33. Female tawny owl, driven by lack of food, leaves her clutch of 2 eggs. 11:50. Her mate brings in a wood mouse and enters the empty nest box. 11:51. Male leaves with the mouse, but an egg has been broken. 1:34. Female returns but is reluctant to enter. 5:19. The last time she was seen. The nest and eggs are deserted. This unique record was photographed automatically at the mouth of a large owl nest box. The automatic camera is linked to a powerful flash unit. The triggering device is an infrared light beam. The light source and photocell are at opposite corners of the mouth of the box, and pictures are taken every time the light beam is broken. So a complete record of all visits to the box can be built up. A full history of events leading to the desertion showed that food was very scarce. A large earthworm in the male's beak. The prey in the talons is much more difficult to identify here. It's clearer in this picture. The wet feathers on the owl's legs are a hint. And the soaked male brings in the 3rd frog of the evening, a meagre and unusual diet for his mate. Graham Hirons is a graduate student in the 2nd year of a research study at Oxford University. He's particularly interested in the breeding biology of owls and their territorial habits. His supervisor, Dr. Mick Southern, has studied tawny owls and their prey in this wood for almost 30 years. The original type of large wooden nest boxes are still in use, and there are 34 of them scattered round Whiteham Wood. Where possible, 2 are put in each tawny owl territory, and the owls use them not only for nesting, but also as winter roosts. A sleepy female. Like other birds of prey, females are rather larger than the males. The outer toe is flexible. It can swivel either backwards or forwards. Tawny owls have 2 talons forward and 2 back when they strike at prey, and 3 toes forward when they perch. They also have striking nocturnal adaptations. The eyes are unusually large, and the retina has a high proportion of rods for good light sensitivity. Hearing is acute too, and the edge of the facial discs are thought to help to detect prey by sound. This female had been caught previously. She can be positively identified by the individual number on the leg ring. The maximum chord length of the wing is a standard measurement for birds. It's the distance from the carpal joint to the tip of the longest primary feather. (273 millimeters, about average length for an adult female. The tawny owl's wing is broad, and it's shorter in comparison with other owls, so it's well suited for manoeuvrable flight in thick woodland. And it's also a good shape for load carrying. The prey can be up to 25% of the owl's own weight. The characteristic silent flight comes from a combination of soft plumage and these fringes along the leading edge of the primary feathers. They act as aerodynamic slots to smooth out airflow across the wings. Winter is a good time for lab work. At the chalet in the middle of Whiteham, Graham Hiran sorts through owl pellets. They're the undigested remains of prey that the birds regurgitate. In their natural state, they break apart quite easily. Fragments of bone can be separated from the dusty remains of fur and feather. This is a leg bone, probably a vole femur. And the lower jaws of small mammals are prominent and resistant items that can be easily separated and identified. But for larger samples, a quicker and more efficient method of dealing with pellets is needed. The pellets are mixed with water and gradually break up. During a period of settling, the bones fall to the bottom. The fur floats to the surface, and it's decanted off from the top. The bones from the bulk sample of pellets are separated and identified. These are pieces of a leg bone of a young rabbit. Here's a lower jaw from a wood mouse. And this smaller jaw is from a common shrew, Sorex araneus. In the rodents, the main criterion for identifying the lower jaws are the shape and pattern of the cheek teeth. This sharp zigzag pattern is characteristic of the short-tailed vole, Microtus agrestis. So pellets can provide a qualitative record of the tawny owl diet. But to complete the picture, a trapping program is needed to find out what sort and how much food is available to the owls. The population of small mammals is estimated at 15 trapping positions in a rectangular grid covering just under 1 hectare. These are Longworth live traps, developed at Oxford just after the war. The trap has two main parts: a tunnel, which provides the catch mechanism, and the other part is the nest box, with food added for bait. The door falls when a treadle is depressed, and the bar locks it shut. In this trapping regime, a safety catch along the side is used to stop the trap springing and the door closing. The traps are left down for 2 days. It's called the pre-baiting period. The animals can get used to the traps and run in and out without getting caught. This is a bank vole, Clethrionomus gladiolus. On the morning of the 3rd day, the traps are actually set, and a twist of hay serves for bedding material, good insulation against late frosts. The safety catch is released and the treadle mechanism checked. Wheat grain is sprinkled into the trap as bait. At marked positions of the wood, the traps are set in groups of 5, laid out in a standard pattern. There are 15 positions like this in the rectangular grid. To check the catch, trapping rounds are made twice each day, once in the morning and once in the late afternoon. This is the first afternoon round. No animals at A6. And none at A5. But at A4, Graham finds a trap sprung. Rodent teeth are quite sharp. So it's best to get a firm grip around the back of the neck. This is another bank vole. The animal is sexed and then it's weighed as a matter of routine. The population index that's calculated at each trapping period depends on the proportion of animals that are captured, released, and subsequently recaptured. This means that each animal has to be marked clearly. In bank voles, there's a tassel of long hairs at the end of the tail. So they're marked by clipping it square. Bank voles are active throughout a 24-hour period. but other mammals of the woodland floor are active only at night. Blowing down the tunnel makes sure that the animal moves into the nest box. There's no tail tassel in this species, so another method of marking has to be used. The dense, dark underfur is exposed on one flank. The mark will disappear at the next molt. The wood mouse, Apodemus sylvaticus, goes into the weighing bag. The pointed snout, large eyes and ears, and its long tail distinguish it from voles. The two-tone coat is much brighter than the grey house mouse. Sexing adult male wood mice is easy. The testes are very prominent. But the numbers of wood mice and bank voles, the owl's major food supply in Whiteham, were very low in March 1973, and this had a marked effect on the breeding success of tawny owls. Only 3 clutches were laid in the nest boxes. Then this clutch was deserted during incubation. But at another nest box, a pair of owls had more success. The camera was set up again. The only owlet hatched in a nest box in 1973. Luckily, its diet was more substantial than frogs. Here a small bird is brought in, a linnet. The owlet takes a small mammal from the female. It's a bank vole. After 3 weeks, the owlet has grown well. There's no danger in removing it from its box for measuring and ringing. The clicks are made by the angry owlet's beak. It's important in all ecological studies to keep a clear and full record of the results. The primary feathers are beginning to show through at 3 weeks, and this owlet will shortly leave its box. It can't stretch its wings in a hole, and it needs exercise before it can fly. The claws are well developed, so if the owlet overbalances and falls from its perch outside the hole, it has a chance of climbing back up the tree. The beak can help too. The feet are fully grown at 3 weeks, so it's possible to fit a leg ring now. There's no danger of the leg being constricted when the owl grows older. Even so, they have to be fitted with care and checked to make sure they're the correct shape and diameter. In October, the Longworth traps are set again to sample the rodent population. Breeding during the summer and recruitment of young means maximum population numbers at the beginning of winter. The mark and recapture method is used again. This wood mouse had been marked a few days earlier. It's in autumn that the owls establish the boundaries of their territories. Disputes are very noisy. But this hoot is not from a resident owl. Graham Hirons uses pre-recorded hoots to attract the owls to the edges of their territories. Here's the resident answering the challenge. Sometimes 2 owls come. This shows exactly where the boundary between them lies. It's a firm point on the map of the owl territories. This is the time when the owlets either establish territories in the wood or are forced to go elsewhere. When breeding success has been very low, there's a good chance that owlets will find a vacant territory. But Graham Hirons doesn't know yet whether the owlet he marked will breed here next year.